Sorry. Pre-game warm-up. Few people in here right now. How's everybody doing? How are you? Welcome to another Breaking the Spell podcast with Aaron Fowler, Psychic Shaman, and Norma Rasmussen, Mystic Norms. Glad you're all here. Who knows what we're getting into? Actually, we're getting into God. What is God? Who is God, in our opinion? Because, there's a lot of evangelism going on right now. I'm seeing it's been going on all my life, but there's a certain narrative of God that certain factions want to be heard. Or it's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Well, I think it goes.
And in our country, what is the loudest?
Yes,
in the United States, what is the loudest religion? That's the one we
all subscribe to in one form or another, right?
Yep.
Babe, why is it I can't is this copy link private?
Yeah, refresh. I don't know. Things are weird in the atmosphere. Got 2 people watching. For those listening later, this is a podcast. It's going to be audio, and video if you want to come see us live.
Share and I get copy link.
Oh, you must have got blocked. Anyway, this is the live version. They're all live versions. But if you want to see the lives, go to the Facebook, go to my Facebook page, Aaron Fowler Psychic Shaman, or my YouTube page, Aaron Fowler Psychic Shaman, and you can hear the Breaking the Spell podcast live. If you follow the link tree, it'll take you to all of my links, my Facebook, we need to get your links up there too. So I need to add your link tree. So when people, because there's plenty of people out there trying to get married in secret, right? And you're good at that.
They just want to get married already. They don't want to make it a big thing, just want to hurry, but they want it special at the same time, right?
That's good though. That's
what
you
nice,
offer.
Quick, beautiful,
That's a good. I
special
just sounded
thing,
Italian,
but quick and just now, right?
So, what is God? Who is God? Where is God? I can tell you right away, right off the bat, God is, to me, is everywhere. God is all of us. There is a literal man in the sky, but there's also a literal woman in the sky too. So there's both. It's the polars. It's the poles. It's the masculine, the feminine. God can make himself via singularity, can make himself show himself to you, but he usually does that through us.
Yes.
We are each a reflection of him.
A spark of a reality, a thought being played out, a scenario in action, a manifestation. It's you can explain it in so many different ways, y'all. But we are that which we seek.
That's right. I think I need to put us in do not disturb, right? I always forget to put that block up just so we don't get phone calls. But anyway, welcome. God is a lot of things. Think about everything. Whatever you're thinking about is God.
Yes.
It's coming from God. Now, in my opinion, in my view, and this is something we're working on in the classes that we're doing, the Metaphysical Mystics class that we do once a week, something that we're teaching right now is God.
Yes.
Hermetics, talking about the true nature of God, which they call Aton in the Hermetica.
Isn't that Egyptian, I think?
Yeah, it's well that they've been there. They've been to Greece, they've been to Egypt, they've been to Asia.
Somewhat
that's Aton is yes, ancient Chem or Egypt. The pharaohs, the Pharisees. But this was what the pharaohs, or this is what the Egyptians believed.
Right.
And for some reason, it always comes across really harsh when we learn it. And because we're supposed to because they're the bad guys. But I read their texts, I read their teachings, and it doesn't talk about all the fire and brimstone shit.
See, they
have strictures. There's no doubt about
things that. Very, very literally. Right. So if we are trying to learn something that's outside of our own experience, we will, and many times, especially for masculine kind of, I'm looking for certain words. It's not coming to me right now. Point is, if you got more of that logical thinking going on and you're learning and you're kind of analytical, you're going to find yourself taking these teachings that might feel okay very literally. And the next thing you know, you're inadvertently twisting it into something else.
Yeah.
Right? It's about that balance. Seriously. Every time I read these books, it gives me new insights in many different ways. But it always teaches me the importance of that balance.
Please share it out, those lonely two souls out here watching us tonight, listening to us tonight. Who's in here? Check in. What's going on, everybody? Or all three of you. Did you share it in the rooms?
It wasn't letting me share on Facebook. I'm going to share now.
Share just from YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so this is a value for value show. If you like what you hear, the whole model is we won't do any ad reads for anybody else unless there's somebody that we know that's been following the podcast that wants to give an ad read. If you want to leave a donation, leave notes. If you do leave a monetary tip or donation, make sure you leave notes so we can read them out on the next podcast or on the podcast that we're on right now. We might be able to do it live. If you leave us a note, we will read it out. I'll try to see all notifications that come up. So yeah, the value for value link is Linktree, my Linktree. Go there if you want to leave any kind of monetary donation. We appreciate it. Y'all are the ones that keep this going. Y'all are the ones that can become producers. And that's what the monetary donation does, is gives you either executive producer, meaning, the higher donations, or associates producer, which is the lower donations, which is fine. $1 or $1,000, doesn't matter. We appreciate every donation, and you will be read. So if you want to be, if you want to leave something that you want us to say, that's the ad reads we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Even if it is your business, that's fine.
Right. As long as it's not like contradictory or like some sort of like, don't think you can just give us a few bucks and we're going to say things that are going to get us into certain issues. Okay.
And Shawana Foster.
We will be cautious, but we will shout you out.
Like, no, we're not going to be a monkey.
That's right.
Like a monkey on a
we'll shout you out though. Always.
But yes, always give the shout out. Always.
But,
and we will read what you say.
That's right.
As long as it stays within, if it's not
within the realm
completely
of like,
creepy or something.
Not get in
but
trouble.
Yeah, leave us a note. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how you're doing.
That's right.
We want this to be an organic thing with people that like what we do, that have the same like mind. And so anyway, that's what the value for value concept is. Time, talent, and treasure. Time meaning giving your time, listening, sharing, whatever that is, giving time to the podcast, to the Breaking the Spell podcast. Talent meaning if you have talents to share, if you can help the podcast in any way, that's also a big donation for us as well. Artwork or anything you'd like to leave, maybe some tips as far as getting further reach, whatever it is. If you have those talents and you'd like to offer them to the show, we appreciate it. You will be mentioned and appreciated. And then treasure, meaning the monetary donation, the money, the donations, the tips, all these things help us keep going. So anyway, got that out of the way. God. What is God?
What is that?
And we have been talking about this in class. If when right now we've been listening to the Hermetica, and this is I consider this podcast something that's kind of a beginner thing. It's free. It's totally free. If you can leave a donation or a tip, you do. If not, no problem. This is free. We're not going to put it behind a paywall. We're not going to turn it into some big corporation. This is about us and all of us that are listening. So it's important that y'all understand that this is just as much of a show as this is why we get up and do it. It's just as much your show as it is our show. So y'all are heavily influencing it.
Yes.
But God, no. What God is, where did the word God even come from?
Now look, when I was a kid, it was obviously a word that was put into me. But for me, I had certain little weird tics growing up. And those words were like, I don't know, amazing to me. So God was a way to get through those moments.
I don't know what kind of weird shit she's talking about, but
all I'm saying is I'm taking a word and helping people to understand that. I'm just understanding it on a logical level. Just because something's repeated to you so much,
right,
that it becomes a bit of a crutch. Understand?
Yeah, it's programmed into us.
So much more.
God is not what God is what we think of it.
Right,
but
it is.
There's so much more than that.
Right.
What happens is these religions put limiters on things. They limit things. They limit your scope. Maybe they don't even do it on purpose. Maybe they do. But finding yourself in one part of, that spirituality and your connection with God, your connection with the all, the nothing.
Right.
That is a personal thing.
Yes.
And you can find that by joining a religion. Some people do, but they're only seeing a little part of the scope of the full scope.
And what is it about that religion that you've really felt that deep feeling for, right? Is it the programming of their language? Is it a certain pastor, just a certain church you enjoy? Is it the
people doctrine, you're around,
the people,
your community,
right?
Because there are churches that are smaller.
Yes.
They're doing really well. Like they really are showing people how to garden. They're gardening to feed the poor.
Right.
Like these small churches.
Yes.
They're in it for the right reasons. It's a smaller church. But when it gets to be like in this, these evangelicals that drive around fancy cars and really flaunt their godliness.
And look, I'm going to give this to the LDS, but I have my qualms with this too. They have special buildings for special people.
Oh, you got to be a certain amount of special to get in a certain amount of
rooms. There's already segregation. Okay. And they will spend enormous amounts of money
Teresa,
to make these people feel special in this way that, at least in my opinion, I'm sorry, I know some of you like really take a look at what it is you're believing. It's bullshit. Okay.
Colleen Deal sent us $10. She didn't leave a note though. But thank you, Colleen. Much love. Good karma. Good karma.
Hell yeah. And hopefully we see your comment and we will.
If you want to leave a comment that you want me to repeat, I'll put it up on the screen.
Podcast, we appreciate it.
Yes, we love first timers.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, this is what we're doing right now. This is tonight we're talking about God, and who knows where that's going to go. I might open up the phone lines or let you into the studio so you can get onto the podcast with us and talk and express what you want to say.
We fill it out each live.
Yeah, just whatever. I mean, sometimes we don't do that, but we like to let people on and talk. Right. And we're on all I'm putting us on every podcast platform I can find. So that takes time because there's a lot of them, but we're doing great. As far as the podcasting.
And we are so
the podcast.
Appreciative.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
It's because of you. It's because we started something, but y'all are helping with that momentum.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it
really is.
Carry us very far. Or help us fly.
Right.
So
and share and expand. And
back to God.
Yeah.
What do y'all think of God? I mean, I want to see some comments right now. Let's see. How would you describe God in one word? One word. Leave us some comments. Let us know. Just one word. Colleen just joined the YouTube. Yeah, I think she was on YouTube from the beginning.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's a good word. Love. I would say powerful.
I would say connected.
Yeah, because we are all connected and we all are powerful. If we use that love and amazement and keep ourselves there, see, these are the words we're already just using. That's where we experience true bliss,
yes.
And you know what? It's more than that. Like the magnitude, as you experience true bliss, you might experience like, whoa, this is heavy, like true heaviness too.
That's exactly what I was just about to say, is understanding the way in which you get to that space takes.
It's a heavy responsibility.
Work, dude. You gotta
it's a heavy responsibility.
Yes. You gotta take into consideration all these different elements of the human. How much am I interacting? How much am I projecting? How much, I mean, am I taking in enough of the information to be able to give the proper information, right? I will get messages come in and then my ego will get me stuck on this certain thing because I'm not quite seeing it right? But that will be my perfectionist issue, right? It's my own personal thing. Understanding yourself in that level, really going, what is it about God? What is my relationship with this word,
Yeah.
this idea, this
That's a driving those three, that 3-letter word is very powerful. It's very suggestive.
right.
As if I could break it down to you, like, and we'll get to that. We're gonna get through it. But as far as what I've seen in the work that I've done, in the psychic paranormal work that I've done, there is a God that you can actually look at. Like he or she will show themselves, but they're always going to show themselves as a couple. Unless you're, maybe if you're alone and you need the feminine aspect or the
Right.
masculine, they may, just as far as what I've seen, yes, there is that creator God, or that God that is looking over everything. And then there's a lot of other creator gods. So who is God? Well, they tell you that you shouldn't follow these creator gods, but they all have specialities in one thing or another.
They've mastered one area or another.
So they're teaching you.
Lifetimes.
They're teachers. That Greek mythology, that Norse mythology, those things are a lot more literal than you realize, than we all want to accept. They're just they're part of the
a little puzzle.
I don't even want to call it puzzle. The fabric, the
painting,
of how
the
we
fabric,
yes,
the root,
but there is something above them. But then you can even go above the singularity that we think about, and that singularity has another singularity. Like, it didn't just start; it's always been going.
Right.
So for it always to be going and never to be ending, wouldn't we need multi dimensions? And I don't understand it all. I mean, I'm a human, so
right. Well, see, in the way I trust me, I am still coming to terms with myself. But truly understanding that no amount of beating yourself up and no amount of complacency is going to bring you to a place that you want to be, right? Allowing yourself to truly dive into your being, who you are right now, right? Like understanding how you think, why you think it, questioning you, that opening, that thought process, that is God. Being open to all these different ideas while being rooted into why you even think that way, right? And then knowing where you need to grow, where you need to have patience, where you need to push forward, where you're neglecting certain things or certain aspects that you think you're paying attention to, but are so focused on this thing you're not, right? Really opening yourself up to thought, because that in itself is God.
yes,
What
that
you
is the
think
thoughts of God.
can and will be.
Well, that's the
or
whole
should
thing. Is
be,
you
or
can,
has
when you
been,
connect
or
on meditation and you connect on
that's right.
contemplation, when you really get into like this trance state, you are pondering as God would. And sometimes we forget that.
That's right.
And when we lose that sense of connection to the all,
Yes,
the nothing,
mm-hmm.
as much as you don't want to say it, the nothing is something.
It is.
It's
everything.
A place where
it's
we
everything.
Can create something.
It's everything.
It's a place where we can put things. It's
right?
the rest
That's
note
right.
in a music, or a bar of music.
Yep.
Never ceasing, the past, the future, pure creation.
That's right.
And there really is no past, present, or future. There just is.
I mean, when you think about
forward movement, because you always end up back in that past.
Right.
One way or another, maybe differently, but
I do try to tell people to stay in the present, right? Or stay focused.
But there really is no present.
But ultimately, we're always seeking the present. We're always in
or the present is just past.
And right. As I'm striving to pay attention to this moment, the moment has now passed. So just being able to understand yourself and how you work and finding your flow, right? Being your drop in the ocean, running with it, going with it, being your ultimate you.
Yes, understanding you're
within
one drop
the whole
in a vast
wave
ocean,
of everything,
or one grain of sand
and living it
in the
out
middle of the desert.
to your heart's purest
That's the
desire.
connection we all have.
That's right.
We're all sitting next to each other. We're all right next to each other, hearing each other's thoughts, feeling each other's feelings. And that is the oneness. That's the
Yep.
oneness. Now, that knowing that we have that oneness, there are certain
You can kind of get lost
people
in
in this
journey,
oneness
unfortunately.
that want to completely put you in oneness that's
Right.
in a bad place. It's like you just follow orders and that's it. I wasn't born in that generation.
Right.
I was born in a pretty badass generation. The boomers were pretty badass when they were younger. And there are still some boomers that are very badass now.
That's right.
But I was born and raised to rebel.
That's right.
Against conventional.
It's a question.
If it's bullshit, like if it's not bullshit, I'm gonna vibe with it.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if I vibe with it, and this is my own personal experience, I'm going, wait, hang on. I've been hanging out here too long. What the fuck's going on? Why do I feel like this right now? Just good? Just bad? Do I need to move over here? Right? So, truly understanding your flow of things, how you work as a human being, a soul, mind, body, soul, right? Like, okay, if you have bodily issues, you really have to dig down deep into the root of yourself. When did this begin? When did I first start feeling this way? What was that initial thought that brought me to this thing? Was it someone telling me I had something I had to deal with my whole life? Or was it an actual bodily issue that made the thought start to happen? Right? Really connecting with your physiology, your inner self, is what creates your life for you. And then knowing that no matter what you've ever thought, how you've ever thought, where you've ever been, there is a lifetime where that exists. And you can ingrain all of that wisdom in every single lifetime into your present decision, no matter how forward thinking it is.
There we go. How's everybody doing? Please share this.
And
we appreciate it.
Made entire sense.
Kind of. No, God is the geometry. God is math.
Yes.
God is science. God, which means they're always changing.
Mm-hmm.
You're always learning more, and once you learn more, you're like, oh shit, well, there's a whole other bunch of problems.
Right.
Or, you know, as a mathematician, here's some more formulas. I've got to create my own, and that's what good mathematicians actually create their own universes, and they learn from them. So math isn't set in stone. Neither is science. Neither is anything else. It's always changing.
It's like always exact, but always different, right? I can come to this same conclusion with all these different numbers. I end up here. No matter how many numbers I add or subtract, I end up with this number. Mathematics, logic, yet creation in a home.
Yep. And it got quiet.
Because I get dumb.
I think we're pretty close to being done. Like God, really summing it up, is God is everywhere. There is like, quit thinking about it in God, like saying the actual word. Or there's something holding everything together and protecting.
Use that vibration
you to live the life you're living until you no longer live it.
Promise. Because look, when I was a kid and I told you my awkward story there at the beginning that he didn't seem to understand, there's a vibration in our words, in our tone, in our communication. our vibration,
Yeah.
right? Understand God your way. I was getting stuck on it because I was in a religious family. I was going to church. I had certain beliefs, things were being told to me, but I liked the vibration. God.
Whatever the hell that was. I don't know what that,
However,
whatever your way is to get
because
that
that's
place.
what I'm saying though, is understanding why and where these things come into play for you.
Yeah.
And then play with them, understand them for you. Because your unique experience is truly an important one.
And it is, God is everything. And the nothing. The nothing is what we see and what we perceive as nothing, but all that is a blank canvas.
That's right.
It's a place to create more.
Yes.
It's a place to grow. That means we have a lot to grow. Look, go outside and look at the night sky.
Right.
Look at how many stars there are as compared to how much space is in between them.
Like, just, I mean, for reals.
And I haven't learned everything. I don't know. I'm not going to get the complete answer.
Oh, well, because, yeah, I mean.
But I don't even think God has a complete answer.
The whole of everything. God as a whole in the entire glory is a thought.
Like we are.
It is a thought. It is what we think. It is what we allow. It is thoughts in action.
If we
are
decide
the
to take them in action
of these thoughts. What thoughts will we allow to direct us? Anyway, that's my idea of God.
There is no, like the idea, and I'm glad you used idea, because belief puts it into a whole other category.
Right.
And you should have beliefs to a certain extent.
Yes, I believe no one
but
should
be open to more. Like I don't know shit about God.
Right.
Like the singularity that we came from is a part of another. We see it as a singularity.
Right.
But above that is another singularity.
Mm-hmm.
That our God is. It just keeps going. It keeps expanding.
And growing and repeating and doing, but yet, and you can go ahead and get lost in that and go, oh, well, then I might as well just do because I'm just gonna. But remember, it is our thoughts that direct the growth. You can give up, you can quit, and you can just give in because it's all just going to end up there anyway. Or you can realize your highest potential. You can take that thought you were born from and expand it to so much. Like, there's endless possibilities. Your life can be amazing. Allow yourself to utilize your being. Compromise, connect, and then act.
Yep. What do you think, babe? We got one person watching, so I guess we'll just share it out of the podverse.
Yep.
But I think that was a good one.
I think so. I hope so.
Short, sweet. Can't explain God. You can just find certain pieces of them.
Right.
And certain pieces means everything.
That's
you can find God in everything.
That is right.
Anyway, we love y'all. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great morning wherever you're at. And we'll see you next time.